What's going on, everybody? This is your boy Chaos King True coming to you guys with some exciting news. So last night on the 17th for the last patch, for those of you who were just waking up and didn't stay up to see what was happening with the new patch, they released Immortal War last night, January 17, 2024. So now everyone gets to play Immortal War just like in CN, something that the community's been asking for literally the last 3 years since I've been playing the game. So of course, we're gonna go over that. We're also gonna go over everything else that the patch note that entails in this video as well. Of course, if you guys like the content, make sure you like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, that way you can see when all of my videos come out. And beside that, let's go ahead and jump right into this. All right, so when it comes to the patch note, we're gonna hit the biggest announcement out of all of this, which is the releasing of Immortal War. So as you can see here, Immortal War is going to be released 3 hours a day. That's actually normal. It's the same way in CN. We believe that it's going to be released from 9 to 12, so 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. Eastern time. It is a little bit different than they originally had it. It used to be that you had to be solar. They did knock the rank down to where you had to at least be platinum in the Herald's Trial to actually be able to play Immortal War. So if you're not platinum yet, you do need to go ahead and grind those games out so you can get into Immortal War. The key thing to remember about Immortal War is the competitive version of Naraka. This is the same game mode that is played in the NBPL, Morris Cup, Shadow Jade Cup, Celestra Cup, and all of the professional competitive scene when it comes to Naraka Bladepoint. There are a lot of varying rules with that as well, which we'll go over here very briefly. And of course, I will come out with a more detailed guide later on. So as you can see here, the score is determined by your ranking and total number of enemies killed. That's actually still normal from the Herald's Trial, but of course it is a little bit different how they do the scoring, which we'll go over here shortly. Knocking down the same enemy multiple times within a short period will not all be counted. A maximum knockdown of 2 per enemy will be counted. So this is actually putting the game to one, it helps with the competitiveness. You can't let people get rezzed, especially in the team mode and trios. So basically, if you keep knocking down the same guy, you're not gonna rack up points. This helps with cheaters. Unfortunately, there are people that would try to do things like that and try to cheat, sadly. But with that being said, that doesn't affect anything in Immortal War. You knock somebody twice and then everything else is just you trying to get them off the map. So that way you can do what you need to do. There are no rank restrictions when it comes to teams. Instead, matchmaking is based off the number of players who has the highest score. So of course, that's always a good thing, right? Anyone, basically whoever queues up for Immortal War, you're fighting whoever's queued up. Again, this is the competitive game mode, so it's not to be mistaken with Herald's Trial. This is meant to be where all the high-ranking and hard-nosed sweats are at. So if you're somebody who doesn't want to play against a lot of sweats, you have between 9 and 12 to play Herald's Trial or Quick Match. Hopefully they take it out, where you can go ahead and vibe out, stay out of Immortal War unless you want to play against the sweats. I say that because I already know there are going to be people who are going to go and try to play Immortal War and say, man, they're all sweaty in here. That's the point of the mode. So when it comes to the amount of people that can play in each mode in Immortal War, when it comes to trios, there are 6 teams that play per match. So that's 18 people. And then when it comes to solos, there are 16 people that play per match. So a much smaller group of people will be fighting in these matches. One of the reasons they do it that way is to make the matches go a little bit quicker, since obviously there is only a 3-hour window you can play, and there are no bots in Immortal War. So if you're somebody who is getting tired of playing against the bots or doesn't want to play against the bots and wants to play the game in its true competitive form, Immortal War is where you want to be. Again, do remember, this is where the competitive people will be playing. So if you're somebody who doesn't like to play against the super high level players, you may want to avoid this mode. But I'm a full believer that this is the true way Naraka Bladepoint is meant to be played. Of course, when you go over the rewards, so this is how the game kind of works as far as like getting kills and things. You get 3,000 Dark Tide coins every time you knock an enemy. The first 3 players in the match to do so receive 3,000, 2,000, 1,000 bonus. So this is your first blood, second blood, and third blood bonuses. You can only get the reward up to twice from each enemy, however. So just remember, again, when you get these knocks, you get gold every time you knock somebody. So it's not like Herald's Trial where you pick up the gold they currently have. You get a set amount of gold per knockdown every time you knock somebody down, again, up to a maximum of 2 times. And then of course, if you get the early kills, you get a little bit of a boost which is kind of leaves you with an early game, mid game, late game strategy, which of course is a lot different than Herald's Trial. But again, I will make a dedicated video going over Immortal War specifically in the coming days. The Realm of Yang, of course, the basic rule is the same as the rank mode. The realm only refreshes once in the first round of trios, and then you kind of go from there. But as far as fighting in Realm of Yang, it's exactly the same. There's no difference. The buffs are still the same. Everything is just the same as you're used to. When it comes to the Rift dealers, there are more Rift dealers on the map, especially since buying items is very important when it comes to the competitive game mode of Naraka. You'll be able to obtain legendary and epic soul jades through the Lucky Jade shop, so that's a good thing as well. Again, we'll go over that more with the dedicated video. Of course, when it comes to the quest of Immortal War, all scrolls will become bounty quests in solos, so you only can do bounty quests in solos because they want people fighting. In trios, the amount of duration will be decreased for your quests. So basically, you have a shorter amount of time. You have to rotate quickly to make sure you take advantage of those quests. When it comes to the drops, there will be less epic equipment and no legendary equipment on the map. So of course, if you're somebody who's used to trying to find that gold item, you are not going to be able to find it while playing Immortal War. They want everybody having purples if you're really lucky, but everyone's going to basically fight with white and blues. If you're somebody who does a lot of 3-banning, this is really good for you because you usual 3-banning, you have a blue weapon. So this would be something you're very used to if you've been training up and getting ready for this. Of course, when it comes to the caves, there are extra drops with legendary weapons in the caves, big soul jades and huge amounts of dark tide. That's only when you find the key. So of course, but as people know, that can get you found as well. Again, we'll go over strategies and things of that nature in a dedicated video. But of course, with the new load unlocking, there are going to be more rewards for people to earn. So of course, everyone starts at Master 1, and then as you level up through the ranks, you get more, going all the way up to Magnate, which is the current highest rank in Immortal War. Which you'll get 10 regular choice treasures, the legendary dagger, which you get at least if you hit Master 3, and then a hero badge, for you showing that you reached Magnate. You also get a hero badge for Grandmaster all the way 1 through 4, but you don't get anything through Master because that's basically the basic ranks. As you can see here, the rank system also too is very tedious, so you are going to have to grind to get those ranks. It's not going to be like whereas Herald's Trial, where you'll just be racking in a ton of points. And again, for all of those guys who like to kind of farm the bot batches in Herald Trial, you won't be able to do that here, baby. You got to fight people. But hopefully a lot of people will enjoy that. Again, I'm a true believer that that's the way Naraka Bladepoint is meant to be played. Of course, the final note for this portion of the patch notes, if you make it to the top 500 in Immortal War, you will get get on the Immortal leaderboard. This reward will update every Monday. Being in the top 500 earns you a title. At the end of the season, if you're on the leaderboard, you have a title, you'll also get an avatar. And of course, with the final time, the top 3 players will receive a very specific reward. So if you end up being that top, for all the high rankers that want to be there, when you start pushing up those ranks, I guarantee you people are going to want those rewards. So be ready to scrap it out. Beside that, of course, we do have the hero adjustments, which there weren't a lot. They basically did some retweaking to Justina, so nothing special there. The hung sword got a lot of optimization as well, not a lot of nerfs or buffs, so nothing really special there either. Of course, with this patch, we also have the new events. So the new crossover has come out, which is the Soul Lands crossover. There is a special deal right now for Tamoch. So Tamoch's skin is currently the cheapest skin in the game, but it's the one at a 96% discounted rate. So we're only 120 gold. So if you're actually interested in grabbing this and it's not in the gacha, this is your time to grab it if you want it. There's not a lot of times where Naraka releases discounts like this, so be sure to take advantage of that as soon as possible. Beside that, of course, like all the events, we do have the upcoming event for the new hero coming out into the game, where right now you have to collect the different scrolls to unlock the different things for a while she's coming out, and you can share them with your friends. So of course, be sure to log in, share the gifts with each other. You need 4 scrolls per to do the full unlock of everything. That way, when she comes out, you have all the goodies when she is released. Of course, you have the rest of the patch notes here. where they go over the different things, where they added some new content to the bot mode, to quick match, and Herald's Trial. So of course, when you see here, in the yin yang field, eye fields, a new mechanism has been added to create seals. The seals provide continuous healing for allies and damage over time. Of course, that's something that's new. They do have some new things in new animals in the game as well, which are kind of like mini chests. So they drop an item or two, nothing crazy. And then of course you have the new herbs. So you have the tulips, you have the dream orchids, the silk fragrances, and the lover's yearning. Again, they just give you various buffs when you pick them up. We do have a few new soul jades as well with the crossover. Of course, with those new soul jades, we'll get to check them out as the game opens. Of course, if I feel like it's something that's very impactful, I will cover that in a very specific, I will cover that in a dedicated video as well. Lastly, you have the Righteous Judgment. So the Righteous Judgment is an event that's going to go all the way until the end of this month. So you basically have 2 weeks to go through that event. What I would say is just log in, make sure you're doing all of your events, make sure you're doing all your missions. This is a great place for you to do in Herald's Trial. Since now Herald's Trial is not the mode that people are really going to be worried about being competitive in, it's going to be more towards the Immortal War. So jump in there, knock out your missions, and then of course practice if you're a Immortal Wars player, so that way you can try to climb to the top of those leaderboards. Of course, if you guys want to go over the full patch notes, I will leave the link in the description. That way you can check it out directly from the Naraka website. But beside that, I just had to announce this. I had to get this out. Like, everyone needs to know Immortal War has finally come to Naraka Bladepoint after us almost asking for almost 3 years. For those of us who've been playing since the original beta of Steam back in 2020. This is a very exciting moment for me. I cannot wait to play Immortal War. This is actually good also too for the global scene, because now people will get to have the adequate amount of practice to be able to compete at the highest level. But of course, if you guys like this type of content, especially more of the short form patch notes over something more elaborate, leave me a like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell, that way I can see when all of your content comes out. Beside that, you guys have a wonderful day. Peace.